This is very exciting. First on-course live stream, ladies and gentlemen, with the great and powerful Michael Maurer. I don't know if we're live now, but I believe we are.
What we're doing here today, Clay, is we've got the 18 handicap. He's got one on the green. Here, just shits and giggles, he's going to play a little cut jumper lie off of this first cut here. He's playing this like...
It's actually a pretty good shot. Now, we are actually live on the internet here, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Golf Club of Dallas. I'm joined by my good friend, Michael Maurer. Michael, welcome to the 1L Studios.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Clay. It's a great day for this.
Michael, we're out of the realm of the theoretical of the driving range, working on the swing, trying to swing better, to play better. We're here in the battle on the third at the Golf Club of Dallas. It is our job to play golf. We're no longer playing swing. So I appreciate you coming out here with me today to help show the folks back home how we can play golf. And before we get into that, Michael, can you tell us a little bit about your background in the game?
I came late to golf, as in I was probably 26 years old, maybe 30, something like that. Self-taught, lots of bad habits that I built on that for years. And of course, after not a good student in school and not a good student around golf, but I play my game, my swing, and I know my limitations.
Okay, well, I was thinking that as you sort of impromptu gave us a shout here at the Golf Club of Dallas, said, can you come out and play? My brain immediately started to going, well, today's clinic is about the full swing, and sort of my teaching philosophy, which is kind of counter to a lot of the industry philosophy, is that your swing kind of is what it is, especially when you tee off. Your swing is what it is. There's this drive to kind of cram, like before an exam. You get on the range and the latest video you saw on YouTube, you're going to try to squeak a couple past the goalie out here on the golf course. But it's my theory that the better strategy is to do what you're capable of more consistently on the golf course. So when I thought about that, I immediately thought of you. Because you're the kind of golfer that knows his game, and when you're out there, you're going to do and perform and try to execute only the shots that you think that you're capable of. And what's your handicap these days?
It's trending higher from 14, and I'm probably pushing 17, 18 right now.
Okay, so bogey golfer. Your swing is no Mona Lisa. It's not the perfect Adam Scott hitting all the positions perfectly. Can we get a little look at your swing here on camera before I talk about some of my stuff? Yeah, let's go ahead and hit one. Let's take a look at the swing here and see what we're working with. I think this would be relatable for the folks back home. So we got, what do we have here? Like 130-yard par 3, Golf Club of Dallas. What club do you hit about 135 yards?
Normally would be an 8-iron, but this hole seems to play long for me. Normally fade the ball. I've taken more club. I'm hitting a 140 club, which in my bag is a 7-iron.
7-iron, folks. Let's see what he's got. To one of the tributaries leading into the Trinity, I'm sure. But the great Byron Nelson said, when you're on the golf course, the only two things you want to work on in your swing is your grip and your ball position. So that's kind of a paradigm shift for a lot of people, to not have to think about too many things in their swing. But even before you get to that, Michael, tell me about your mentality over a shot like this. How are you preparing yourself mentally to hit this shot into the hole?
One thing, I just came back from a broken wrist, and I had to up club of a tremendous amount of clubs. and I'm getting closer to my old numbers per se. One thing that I try to take wherever I go into greens, I mentally picture just getting the ball to the front edge of the green, as in I'm not trying to kill it, because my tendency is I try to get everything without letting the club do the work. So mentally, I'll go up there and go, okay, I'm just trying to cover the front edge, not be a hero, and make good contact. And another thing that I've had huge amount of backpedaling I have to do is my weight was awful. I would probably always, I was never getting back and around to the left. So I'm trying to get my weight shift onto this left side.
Okay. Now, when I hear that, I hear a lack of freedom. I hear a lot of thoughts going on in that head of yours.
There's a lot of, our mutual friend Marshall had told me he had read something of late where you take your practice swings, and once you address the ball, you are trying to do just that, clear your mind and just play. I mean, we all need to do a lot more of that.
So that sounds great. It sounds awesome that we want to not think, but how do we not think? How do we try not to try? And the answer is we give ourselves a task, is what I found for my time playing. So what I would encourage you to do, I don't want you to change your golf swing out here, but I would like for you to play around with this idea of universe 1, universe 2. Are you willing to come on this mind vehicle journey with me into universe 1, universe 2? All right, so here's what we're going to do, folks. We're here on a par 3. Here's a line, a separation between universe 1 and universe 2, okay? We got that in our mindset? All right, so when we're back here behind the line, our job is to visualize the kind of shot that we want to hit. Stephen Yellen says it's like you're writing code, you're creating an algorithm based on what your capabilities are. We've got our club selection, we've got a pretty good plan. We're in universe 1, we're using the logical, analytical part of our mind to create a plan. And then as soon as we cross over this threshold, we have to cross into a different part of our brain, which is more of the reactionary, athletic part of your brain. So that athletic, reactionary part of your brain likes something called non-specific awareness. So we're doing the opposite of non-specific awareness back here. We're very specifically aware of what we're trying to do. We're creating a plan. And so once you're in this process of planning and creating a plan, you will start to fall into a place of comfort, from my experience, because you're actively invested in the process of the visualization of the shot. So once you feel happy, like you've seen a pro shot tracer like on TV on the PGA Tour, once you feel satisfied with a plan that you feel is appropriate for the shot, I want you to cross this threshold into universe 2. And the only job in universe 2 is to swing with absolute comfort. Like it's just like you're standing on the edge of the ocean, and as long as the ball touches the water, it's perfect. I want you to forget the plan in universe 2, okay? The plan has already been established. You don't have to actively remind yourself, don't mess up, get the front edge of the green, get the front edge of the green. What I want you to do is to slip into whatever comfort that you need to feel like you're just on the edge of the beach and you trust that with your normal swing, it's going to touch the water. So can we go through the whole thing before these guys catch us behind here? This is the goal for today, is to talk about universe 1, universe 2. So if you would, verbalize the kind of shot that you want to hit. And then as soon as you pass this classic brass Golf Club of Dallas yardage marker, I want you to slip into universe 2. But right now, universe 1, tell us the kind of shot that you're going to hit.
Channeling the great Hogan as he would have stepped back here in the day, and I'm imagining a high draw right at the flagstick. And if by chance in universe 2, if I happen to fall back to my normal bad tendencies and or natural ways, I might block it, fade it a little.
Well, sir, you've already violated the principles of universe 1, universe 2. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. I have to monopolize your time here, sir. All right. So I don't want you talking after this point.
Right.
If that makes you comfortable to talk, then talk. But to me, that sounded as like you were still formulating the plan, and that formulation of the plan is going to corrupt your swing. And I'm being totally serious. It's very subtle, but I want you to feel a clear delineation between planning and comfort.
Just go up there and
All right. So what kind of shot are we going to hit?
there's a sea of water out there, and I just have to hit a 140-yard shot straight as a string.
All right. Let's swing with some comfort. Marshall, you're live.
Live on the air?
You're live from the 1L studios as we have the great Michael Maurer approaching his approach on the third.
I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener.
And he has ripped it front edge of the green, a little peeler. He is just short. Here, I'll let you talk to Michael while I hit my shot here. If you would just hold that microphone there so the folks, and maybe stand in frame so the folks back home can talk to you. Marshall, welcome to the program.
Great to be here.
Live on the internet.
Live on the air.
Yes, sir. We're going to wave these golfers through.
Maurer, what's the deal? What hole you on?
We're just out here dinking around. Is it okay if Marshall comes over?
Yeah,
Tell him.
is this the whole crew that's coming out? I do have to clear it with the great Keith Coppage, head professional here. If we had got 8-10 guys rolling up, that's going to be an issue. But
where's Jose?
No. Rodney just told me about it. He said he might be willing to join.
Why don't you and Rodney just come on over here?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll head that way.
No lamping.
As long as it's okay with Clay.
yeah, I just got to make one quick phone call, but this is great live action here on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, friendliest club in town, Golf Club of Dallas. Where else can you get this kind of value? And Marshall, while we got you on the line, you were talking about the playing circle and the thinking circle. Where did you hear about that?
The think box and the play box. That's from the PETA book. It's called Vision 59.
And are you able to execute that think box, play box? Do you feel like that requires quite a bit of discipline in order to stick to it?
Absolutely. It's going to take some repetition, some practice. Definitely doing it on the range before you put it into play on the course. Definitely takes a little practice, of course, just like anything else does.
Well, for sure. And to me, it takes a leap of faith, and maybe Michael can give us his insights there. I know it's just one shot, but did 5% of freedom creep in on that second shot at all, or did it feel like you were kind of forcing it?
It did. I did feel freed up about 5%, maybe even a little more. How much
of a mind shock would it be for you to feel like you could swing with complete freedom over every shot versus guiding it, feeling like you have to actively guide the club head in order to not mess up? In general, do you feel like you're pretty guidey or pretty free?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm more guiding. Yeah.
And why?
Probably too much mental trash.
But here's the question. If you could do what you were capable of more consistently, would you be satisfied? Or do you feel like you're just searching for anything? You haven't hit a great shot in years and you're totally trying to reinvent the wheel?
A little of both. Yeah.
Because of the injury partially. And that's a little bit of an issue. I mean, there are certain non-negotiable things that need to happen in the golf swing. But again, it's my thought that most people's good enough is good enough to get the ball in play, to not be hitting it all over the world. And the reason that you're hitting it in creeks and hitting it out of bounds is because you're trying to think about your swing while you're swinging. So Universe 1, Universe 2 is just one way to get out of this idea of playing swing out on the golf course. And I thank you for your time, and I thank you viewers back home for coming with us out here to the beautiful Golf Club of Dallas. We're starting to get some nice long shadows in this late afternoon, and I hope that we see you out here at this historic golf club. And I hope that you come out and see me for a lesson and we can talk about whether or not your swing is good enough. So one of the things I like to see before people decide that they're going to close the book on their golf swing and just learn to play better is to eliminate one side of the golf course. Is there one side of the golf course that you never miss? Do you like never miss left or never miss right?
I tend to, it's hard for me to hook it.
Hard for you to hook it. That's great. So that's an important part of being able to play golf. If you get a two-way miss, it is a tough game. But even as a bogey golfer, if you can eliminate the left side of the golf course, if you can trust that with your comfortable swing, you're not going to hook it into the bunker, maybe it would free you up a little bit to start aiming left of the flag and just trusting that your natural swing is going to fade it back to the hole. That was a little bit interesting when, I don't know if you're being sarcastic when you're saying you're channeling Hogan and hitting a high draw. I assume you were. But just from like a strategy standpoint on this hole in particular, for those of you back home that never missed left, maybe it would be a good idea to aim at the left third of the green and slap it up there. That gets into a little bit more of course management, a little different than what we're talking about. Again, I'm talking about when is your swing good enough? When can you close the book on your swing? Because Mr. Maurer, are you going to be out on the range for hours and hours, 6 hours a week with perfectly set up alignment rods and feedback stations in order to groove a new motion effectively? And you can see a clear cause and effect based on a elimination of variables of ball position and setup. Are you going to be able to create this environment, Bryson DeChambeau-esque, where you can just grind and create new muscle memory and start to understand the cause and effect of your swing? Or would it be more fun for you just to be able to go out onto the golf course and do what you're capable of a little bit more consistently?
Definitely the latter.
Definitely the latter. And I think most people would be. And I think everybody's kind of caught in this cycle, again, of trying to swing better, to play better. But we forget that it takes years to make your new normal this swing change. And we all fall victim to it in the moment of trying to fabricate something with a swing thought or a feel. And sometimes it works, but long-term, it's not all that consistent. And if you start to feel more and more freedom, more and more ability to turn it off between universe 1 and universe 2, where you're literally just mindlessly swinging, I think that you're going to hit the center of the club face more. You're not going to miss very often to the left. And you're going to be able to kind of manage your way around the course without having to be trapped in swing prison, as Stephen Yellen calls it. You're in swing prison when all you're doing is thinking about the swing. I want you to start thinking about the shot from the ball's perspective. I think there's some great wisdom in Caddyshack when he says, "Be the ball, Danny." I mean, it sounds like some hippie mumbo jumbo, but there's really something to it because you're getting external. You're getting out of your own head. Great dart throwers, when the scorekeeper's saying 180, it's not because they're thinking, pull the right arm back and release it with a little flick of the wrist. They're thinking, where in that little 20 triple square do I want this thing to land? And they have gotten so many repetitions that they're able to line up their hand-eye coordination with their training. You have hit thousands of golf balls. You're an 18 handicap, and what you've done is essentially you've carved this 3D motion into a kind of like granite. Like you've got this slot, this natural slot where your club wants to go. You don't have to actively remind yourself how to do it. So if you can just trust that you can swing with freedom, it's going to resemble something that you've done for years and years and years. That just gives you just, maybe if we're at 5% freedom right now, we can crank you up to 51% freedom. And then eventually you're just going to be, it's like a walk in the park, and you're going to be mindlessly swinging like the times when you have played your best. Where's your best ever round of golf, and what did that feel like?
It was taking David Key to the whipping shed, taking all of his money at Prairie Lakes, broke 80, and it was mindless.
And what led to that mindlessness? Were there any variables, any things that you can remember about that day? A lot of times people say that time felt slow. Did you have that experience of things feeling like they were slowing down?
Man, I wished I could say that, but probably my racing mind, it would not get to that point.
Okay, and so could you put your finger? Was it just pure luck, or was it just this this battle against David Key that set you up for the proper mindset to compete?
It was probably the granite swing that you're talking about, where I just knew the shape of every shot I stood over.
You kind of just see, for me, looking at you, I think in your head, you're just seeing everything peel left to right all day. And that's when I played my best. It's like, I don't care what the yardage is. I'm just trying to figure out from where do I want this ball to enter. And for you, you're trying to make every ball enter at like 7, 8 o'clock on this green, if it's a clock. So the more you get lost in that, the less you're going to have to remember. I'm seeing you do these waggles where it seems like you're trying to be like, nice passive club head, don't roll it or anything. But I would say throw all that out the window. And when you do go to the range, start hitting shots. Sit there and visualize these little peelers. The more that you're sitting there and pretending like this swing is happening in a vacuum and we're working towards that perfect Ben Hogan, 1 yard fade, it's just not realistic. So maybe that's all a bunch of rambling, and we got to go. We got to keep up the pace of play here at the Golf Club of Dallas. Sounds like we got some friends coming out to join us. I got to make a phone call. Thank you very much. Oh, Rona Bump. Very nice being with you here, Mr. Maurer. And let's see how I can do here. What was the yardage?
132.
132. So take you through my process of hitting a shot like this. First of all, you need a golf ball. Is that mine?
No. Here you go.
Oh, I got one in my pocket. So 132, I saw Mr. Maurer come up a little short, so I'm thinking there might be wind up there. And so I'll talk you through my universe 1, universe 2. And another little subtle thing is when you're out playing on the course, I want you to judge yourself on here if I can, Mr. Maurer. I want you to judge yourself on the quality of your golf shot. So for me, that means very good routine. I've gone through universe 1, universe 2 with the great visualization, and I've swung with freedom. If I shank it after that, fine. I'm not trying to hit a perfect shot. I'll control anything that's going on out there. So I'm going to soldier. You know how those wind-up soldiers engineered to only go like going to do anything that they're not. Dude, that's your little baby. It's not going to all of a sudden do something crazy. So we're not going to be able to all of a sudden consistently do that we haven't the muscle memory for. So what I can do is try what I choose to pay attention to. And right wedge in hand, draw over that bunker. That to me is the most comfortable shot. And this is going to give it a little extra juice with the pitch energy. But I do the 9's like the most comfortable shot. Once I see the universe 2, let's see how we do. But I'm happy with the process.